Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm back again with the mechanics series. Today we are covering ceiling shots. Without wasting any more of you guys' time, we're gonna get right into it. But before I do, can you guys drop a like, a comment, maybe leave a little heart? I don't know what we do here, but I appreciate it, man. Other than that, let's go. Okay, you guys, I've spawned myself here in free play. So today I'm gonna cover, at least to my knowledge, 2 common setups for a ceiling shot that most people end up doing in game. So setup number 1 being one where you kind of go pretty much across the most of the field, where you set it up and you go pretty much across the whole thing like this, right? And you set one up like that. Or setup number 2, where it's a bit closer to the goal, like this, a little bit closer, and you just pop that stuff right up like that, and then you're already like pretty much at the goal, and you can go for one like that, you know? But yeah, we'll get into that. The first setup and the second setup. But I think just for simplicity, we're gonna just do a basic, like, off of spawn setup that I think anyone can follow along with, no matter what skill level you are. And what I mean by that is basically, you know, we don't have to move the ball from spawn at all. We're just gonna leave it where it is, and we're just gonna come off to the side here, and we're gonna start and come at an angle, right? Let me show you what that looks like. Alright, you guys, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to break down the setup for that. Obviously I just did it, but now we're going to break it into steps. Alright, so step number 1 to this is to come at a slight angle. So right now I'm at it like pretty much dead on, right? And it's going to end up moving the ball directly forward. And while it's not necessarily a bad thing, you're not really going anywhere. You're just kind of going right back up, and it's not going to take you anywhere, right? But if you guys can come at an angle, like so, where you come just slightly off, like this, right, at an angle, diagonal a little bit, right? You're going to be slightly off the middle, and then you're going to be more towards the goal when you go for stuff, right? Right. It's basically just going to get you closer to the goal than if you just go straight up. All right, and then step number 2 is that when you push the ball forward, we're going to give ourselves a little brake check, sorry. So we're going to push it forward, and then right around here we're going to stop, right? And just let the ball move, right? All right, and then after the brake check, you're going to, like, cut your momentum, but then go right back. So let me show you what I mean by that. Like, you're going to go back, so push, 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 come back, and then go forward, and then time it with the banner to pop it up like that, okay? All right, gonna do that one more time, just in slow-mo, just so you guys, you know, get what I'm getting at here, right? So push, back off, push again, and then time with the banner, right? And then we can see, then we're gonna get on the ball like that, good. All right, and then the next step after that is once you get the pop up to the ceiling, you don't want to actually hit the ceiling, because if you hit the ceiling, it's just gonna come and bounce right back from the ceiling back down to the floor. Right, we don't want that. That's not how a ceiling shot is gonna work there. So what we have to do is we have to pop it up very close to the ceiling, but not quite, so that by the time that we get up to the ceiling's height, that it won't be too far, and it hasn't fallen too far from the ceiling just yet, so that we can shoot it. So let me demonstrate. Okay, so there, when I did go up to the ceiling, it's a lot like an air dribble setup. If you guys want any more details on that, I'll put a card up there on top right, my air dribble video, and I mean, it's basically a very similar setup to an air dribble setup, if you guys need any more info on that. But when I went up to the ceiling there, I used some arrow right, and it looks quite fancy and maybe a little bit complicated, so I'm gonna do the same shot again, but I'm gonna simplify it with no spins, okay? So you're not having to, like, guess of how did I spin up to the ceiling, because it's a bit much. So pretty much all you have to do, just to keep it simple, right, is all you gotta do is just tilt back, kind of like a flip reset. If you guys do those, I don't know if you guys do those, but you know, boom, pop, and then jump up to the ceiling like that. See? So I got the same result. Even though, like, yeah, I spun up last time, but you don't have to do that. You can just pop, jump up to the ceiling like that, and then that's it. You know, then you're pretty much good. You know, and then the rest of it at that point is just lining it up, right? So making sure that your car is still lined up with the ball, you know. Okay, yeah, okay, I'm seeing it now. So yeah, basically, you know, I have to use, depending on how straight I am, sometimes I don't have to air roll at all. Like if it's super straight like this, you know, you just jump up, you know, it may as well just already be there. But other than that though, we're gonna be using a little bit of, I use free air roll to just micro adjustment, so boom, then you're gonna be a little bit off, so just, you know, you gotta learn to tilt up into the ceiling, okay? So we're gonna do it one more time. Boom, pop it up. And because again, you're awkward in the bit, so you gotta like you know, make sure you're landing on all 4 wheels, right? So, sorry, I'm not trying to ramble here, but all 4 wheels, right? And then make sure that you're facing the ball. So put it out in front of you, and then make sure that you're facing the ball. All right, I'm gonna do all the steps I just talked about again in slow-mo right quick, so you guys can see it a bit clearer. Alright, hopefully you guys kind of get the gist of that. So basically, the ball needs to be still pretty close to the ceiling by the time you get up there, and then when it is up there, you got to make sure that the ball's in front of you enough to where you could actually face the ball and shoot it, right? So in the slow-mo shot, I used a jump off the ceiling, but if you guys do it right, you don't really have to do a jump. You just have to make sure that's out in front of you. So boom, pump up, right? Jump up like that, and then as long as it's in front of you, there you go. You have a shot of some kind, right? Right. Okay, and then the final big question mark for the end of the ceiling shot here is just how do I get power in the shot, right? And I do talk about this a little bit in my flipper set video, because I mean it's the same instance. You were getting a reset, right? And you're trying to learn how to get power on the ball when you have a reset, right? So whether you get the reset, you know, like this, you know what I mean? So like this, where you get a reset like that, and then try and get power off of this, right? Or if you do it from the ceiling, you know, it's the idea is the same, right? So here, go up to the ceiling, boom, get a reset, all right, and then now it's like, okay, how do I get power off of this, right? You know what I mean? It's the same instance. So if we come off the ball here for a second, right? So the secret technique, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, to get good power on a flip reset is you're gonna use a front flip, right, of some kind, but then do a flip cancel, right? So when I'm not upside down, it looks something like this. So boom. And then flip cancel, right? But if I'm turning the other way when I do it, and I do a front flip, right? It's gonna look like this. So boom, and then front flip, right? But in order for me to get the scoop, I have to cancel it, right? So look, boom, turn, flip cancel, right? That's the motion right there. Is you know, when you're upside down, front flip cancel, right? And then if I don't cancel it perfectly, it's gonna do a little spin. But let me try it. Yeah, like that. See, it'll kind of come off like that. But if you can flip cancel it perfectly up, it'll do that, and that's kind of what we want when we're shooting, right? And then when you mix it all together and you do everything right, you can get something like this. All right, I didn't score that one, but you guys get the point. All right, I got a little sidetracked there. But that setup right there, one off a spawn, that one's pretty general. Like, I feel like anyone can follow that along for the most part. But when it comes to either coming off from a longer distance or a shorter distance, we're going to get into that now. And then I'm going to also, at the same time here, cover a different way to get a ceiling shot. Because in the other ones, I'm jumping up to the ceiling. But there's a way you can get a ceiling shot without using without jumping from the wall there. You can just let me show you. Okay, so for this longer setup, right, it's the same thing. Like, the setup's pretty much the same, right? We're gonna come at an angle like this, right, and then we're gonna push it out in front of us. Okay, now I like to jump for the most part, right? But I'm gonna show you guys another way you can do it if that's not comfortable for you. Is because if it's not comfortable for you guys to jump from here, like on the wall, up into the ceiling, like, if that's not comfortable, you know, I mean, I think anyone should just practice that or give it a try anyways. But there's another way you can get ceiling shots too. Is what you can do is just roll it and just push it up. So we're gonna push it up and then just drive up here, right? And then look, we're pretty much in the same position that we were before, right? So whatever one works for you, it's basically personal preference at that point, which one you want to do, whether you do this one where you pop it and then jump up here and then go for it, or if you just roll it up and then drive up the curve, right? So I mean, the setup's pretty similar though. So bang, bang, drive up the curve, right, and then you're good to go, right? And then just let your car fall. Or if you want to, I mean, it's not any different, but here we go. Roll, 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 pop, get to here, and then jump down. You know, whatever works for you, man. Whatever works. But yeah, pretty much for these longer setups, right? I mean, they're, again, like I said, the setup super duper similar. Come at an angle, right? Make sure that you're pushing it nice and high and out, so that, you know, you have some room, right, to work with. If that makes sense, right? because, you know, once again, right, if we have too much height and not enough speed, right, we're just gonna come up, right? But then we're not, like, unless we're air dribbling it like this, you know, then there's no way you're gonna get like enough speed, right? Just gonna make it difficult. So once again, right, we're gonna come, right, make sure it's high and out, high and out. So high and out, right? So that doesn't touch the ceiling, but it's still moving towards the goal, right? That's what we want. All right, and then whether you choose to do a musty or air dribble into what, you know, the possibilities are endless here, right? Here, I'll just do one of these. There we go, right? Definitely a little bit harder, takes some more finesse, right? But, you know, like I said, right? Pop it up or jump up there and then come back down and then hold your flip, do the flip cancel or not, right? I mean, like I said, there's so many different setups for this. Like you could do like that. You know, I mean, here, let me do one without jump here. And then, you know, time a musty. You know, whatever, literally whatever you guys want to do or practice. It doesn't matter to me, right? But I'm just showing you guys what the setup, for me anyways, generally looks like, right? Pop it out. Make sure it doesn't touch the ceiling, right? Because, again, if we hit it too hard, it touches the ceiling, right? You know, it's going to be kind of difficult, right? So you guys get the point. So, yeah, pretty much for these, I would just basically emphasize the setup, right? Just experiment, right? Experiment. You know, see how much you can push boundaries, right? And just, you know, see what you're capable of, right? And, you know, just get a feel for the setup, right? But like I said, in general, pop it, come up, right? I mean, again, there's so many different ways. Like I already talked about, you know, you can go, you can pop and then jump, right? And then do your thing, or you can just drive up. Like, there's so many possibilities. So just, you know, don't overthink it too much. Okay, so the next setup here is one where you're much closer to the goal, right? And I see that I do this many times in competitive, right? Where the ball, you know, I'll have a bunch of boost, I'll be really close to our goal, right? And I'll just pop it up, directly up, and then I'll come back like that, right? And then I'll do something with it, right? It ends up being very useful and competitive because if you have boost and you have a lot of pressure, right? Then you can just pop it straight up, right? And then you have a high advantage, and you can, you know, use this to score, right? It's just a way to put on pressure, right? Because again, if you have possession of the ball, right? You have possession, and you have a bunch of boost, right, over your opponent, then this is just a way that you can apply more pressure and outplay them, right? So this is just a really common setup you'll see in competitive lobbies, right? So I think this one, in my opinion, might be the easiest one to do because literally all you have to do is just go in pretty much a straight line and then just do everything we just said. So boom, right? If you want to drive up to it, that's fine. And then jump down, whatever you want to do. Like I said, doesn't matter, right? But in this one, it's simple. You're just closer to the goal than normal, right? You just pop it right up. Boom, jump. Maybe this is a small tip. If I haven't mentioned, if it might help you guys, is use a brake. Sorry, use a brake, like brake on the ceiling. So boom, pop it up, right? And then we hit the ceiling, brake like that, right? And then you can kind of cut any extra momentum you have that, you know, is putting you too far out in front of the ball, right? So boom, pop it up, and then brake on the ceiling if you need to. It's just a good tip, right? It's gonna help make sure that you don't go too far or slip too far off the ceiling past the ball, right? Because again, if you go like here and then, you know, you slide past the ball, you know, it's kind of awkward, right? But if you can use a little bit of brake, yeah, on the ceiling, then that kind of helps with that. So boom, 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 and then brake, and then you can, yeah, it's just a bit easier. And then if I haven't said 1,000 times, right, that whatever you want to do onto this, whether it's a ceiling, into air dribble, into flip, whatever you want to do, right? It doesn't matter. Just do what you think is gonna either help you win or what you just find is cool, right? You know what I mean? All right, and then another similar setup. It's almost the same thing, but instead of going straight off the wall like that, you can go off the corner here. So do the same thing. Boom, pop, and then try and wrap the ball around like that. Yeah, I'll admit with you guys, that's pretty hard. So that one's probably gonna take you a bit of practice, right? Because I mean, this is much harder because you have to like wrap your car around the ball because it's gonna come out and away from the goal, but then you have to turn it back in, which is quite difficult, I'll be honest. So I mean, if you guys really put your mind to it, right, you guys can get a reset, or not reset, but you know, a ceiling shot from just about anywhere in the field if you really try hard enough, right? I was just showing you like a couple of common setups that people tend to do, and you know what the uses of those are, right? So I'm gonna show you guys a couple like slightly more advanced things you can do with ceiling shots. So number one I'm gonna show here is like basically to make up for a bad setup, right? So let's say you pop it too high, right? And it's like it hits the ceiling, right? So the nice thing about ceiling shots is that if you bounce off the ceiling, you can just come right back down, like here, right? And then I can just come right down, like, you know what I mean? Like I can go up, and I can come right back down, watch. Boom. And then right back down, right? Like that's just something you can do. So if you can take advantage of that, either with a bad setup, or maybe you do it on purpose, doesn't matter, right? Or you pop it up really high, and oh no, that's gonna hit the ceiling, right? You just come down, and then try and hit it again. It's a bit more advanced, but it's just something you can do. If you just know, right? Like, oh, I hit it really high, whoops. And you come down, right? Then you can just literally just jump off the ceiling. Boom. Pop that up, and then, you know, just jump down. You know, it's a bit more advanced, but it's just something you can do. Or even you can go as far as like hold your flip down off the ceiling. So boom, get to here, jump, and then hold it. You know, a little bit, again, more advanced, but you know, again, just letting you guys know that's the thing. So something you guys can do is you can actually fake the ceiling jump, or not the ceiling jump, but the ceiling shot, right? So what you do is you go up, right? Make it look like you're gonna do a ceiling shot. Be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a ceiling shot, and then you fake it, right? And then you catch it or shoot it, right? Something like that. And I would say, heck, even if you're not like catching, or even if you're not like gonna fake it, right? You can use this as really good practice. Come up, down, and then catch, like that. That's just good practice in general. So that's just something you could try. Alright, you guys, so to end off the video here, I'm going to give you guys a training pack that I recommend for just anything basically somewhat, not that ceiling shots are technically freestyling, I mean they can be if you want them to be, but basically just anything that's just off the wall, up to the ceiling, or just anything off the wall pretty much, right? I highly recommend this Ultimate Freestyle Pack by Faith. He is a freestyler, but you know, doesn't matter, right? The setups are still there, right? So if you guys aren't in the mood for like trying to set them up in free play or something, then I highly recommend you guys try this pack out. I'm literally like, watch, like the first shot, right? Like it's literally what I just talked about, right? With the one that was a bit closer, right? It's just like, look, bang, up, right? You know, and you can practice that way, right? And you know, that's why I love training packs. So, you know, give it a shot, right? Because again, like that's a setup, this is a setup, like look, right? These are all technically good setups, right? For getting ceiling shots, flip resets, you know, whatever thing you're trying to work on, right? Like I think this pack has a lot of good setups you can try. Oh, there's one off the corner, right? There we go, right? So really good pack. I think you guys should try it. I think it'll help you with your ceiling shots or whatever other mechanical crazy stuff you're trying to do, all right? But give it a shot. All right, and you guys don't need to worry. I will be putting this pack down in the description if you need it, so go ahead, check down there for that. All right, I hope that was helpful for you guys. If it was, leave a like or something. Let me know down in the comments. But yeah, other than that, that's all I got for you today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.